I was on the outskirts of a little southern town, trying to reach my destination before the sun went down. The old CB was blaring away on Channel 19 when there came a little boy's voice on the radio line. And he said, "Breaker 19, is anyone there? Come on back, truckers, and talk to Teddy Bear." Well, I keyed the mic and I said, "You got it, Teddy Bear." And the little boy's voice came back on the air. "Appreciate the break. Who we got on that end?" I told him my handle, and then he began. "Now, I'm not supposed to bother you fellas out there. Mom says you're busy and for me to stay off there. But you see, I get lonely and it helps to talk, 'cause that's about all I can do. I'm crippled and I can't walk." I came back and told him to fire up that mic, and I'd talk to him as long as he liked. "This was my dad's radio," the little boy said, "but I guess it's mine and Mom's now, 'cause my daddy's dead. Dad had a wreck about a month ago. He was trying to get home in the blinding snow. Mom has to work now to make ends meet, and I'm not much help with my 2 crippled feet. She says not to worry, that we'll make it all right, but I hear her crying sometimes late at night. You know, there's one thing I want more than anything else to see. Oh, I know you guys are too busy to bother with me, but you see, my dad used to take me for rides when he was home. But I guess that's all over now since my daddy's gone. Not one breaker came on the old CB as that little crippled boy talked with me. I tried hard to swallow a lump that just wouldn't stay down as I thought about my boy back in Greenville town. Dad was going to take Mom and me with him later on this year. Well, I remember him saying, "Someday this old truck will be yours, Teddy Bear." But I know I'll never get to ride an 18-wheeler again. But this old base will keep me in touch with all my trucker friends. Teddy Bear's going to back on out now and leave you alone, 'cause it's about time for Mom to come home. But you give me a shout when you're passing through, and I'll sure be happy to come back to you. Well, I came back and I said, "Before you go, 1010, what's your home 20, little CB friend?" Well, he gave me his address, and I didn't once hesitate, 'cause this hot load of freight is just going to have to wait. I turned that truck around on a dime and headed straight for Jackson Street, 229. And as I rounded the corner, oh, I got one heck of a shock. 18-wheelers were lined up for 3 city blocks. Well, I guess every driver for miles around had caught Teddy Bear's call. And that little crippled boy was having a ball. For as fast as one driver would carry him in, another would carry him to his truck and take off again. Well, you better believe I took my turn at riding Teddy Bear. And then I carried him back in and put him down in his chair. And buddy, if I never live to see happiness again, I want you to know I saw it that day in the face of that little man. We took up a collection for him before his mama got home, and each driver said goodbye, and then they were all gone. He shook my hand with a mile-long grin and said, "So long, trucker. I'll catch you again." Well, I hit that interstate with tears in my eyes. And I turned on the radio and I got another surprise. Breaker 19 came a voice on the air. "Just one word of thanks from Mama Teddy Bear. We wish each and every one a special prayer for you, 'cause you just made my little boy's dream come true." I'll sign off now before I start to cry. May God ride with you. 10-4, and goodbye.
Well, I pulled out of Pittsburgh, rolling down that eastern seaboard. I got my diesel wound up and she's a-running like I never before. There's a speed zone ahead, well, all right. I don't see a cop in sight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. I got me 10 forward gears on a Georgia overdrive. I'm taking little white pills and my eyes are open wide. I just passed a Jimmy in a whine. I've been passing everything in sight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Well, it seems like a month since I kissed my baby goodbye. I could have a lot of women, but I'm not like some of the guys. I could find one to hold me tight, but I could never make believe it's all right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. ICC is a checking on down the line. Well, I'm a little overweight and my logbook's way behind. But nothing bothers me tonight. I can dodge all the scales all right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Well, my rig's a little old, but that don't mean she's slow. There's a flame from her stack and that smoke's a-blowing black as coal. My hometown's a-coming in sight. If you think I'm happy, you're right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
Doodle-doo-doo-doo. A-doodle-doo-doo-doo. Who is a girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway? Rolling down the highway in my Jimmy hauling freight from Chicago to St. Louis. Lord, I see her every day. I double clutch and weasel like me can hardly ever get a girl. Look at him, by the way. Smiling like the girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. Well, what a girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. I bet it wouldn't take her very long to get gone if someone would pull a dirty trick and take her towel away. I slow my Jimmy down to 20, that's how many wrecks I see there every day. Caused by the girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. I doodle-doo-doo-doo. I doodle-doo-doo-doo. Oh, I love the girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. I guess I'm getting bolder 'cause I'd rather kiss and hold her than just keep a looking at her every day. At 4:45 coffee drinking eating time, Jimmy shimmies while I wake up the artist that painted the display of the girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. Doggone that girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. Sleepy-headed painter said the girl wasn't real. Better get this on my way. On Route 66 from the billboard to Chicago, you'll find tiny pieces of my heart scattered every which way. Shattered by the girl wearing nothing but a smile and a towel in the picture on the billboard in the field near the big old highway. I doodle-doo-doo-doo. I doodle-doo-doo-doo. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. I doodle-doo-doo-doo.
coming through Maryland the other night with that old Mac smoking, doing all right. With my hand on the wheel, my foot on the floor, running wide open, wouldn't do no more. I was looking for state men, radar, and a lady hitchhiker. Caught a bunch of trucks in a no passing zone. I was scared to pass, but I wanted to get home. I followed up a hill and around a curve. I didn't see no trooper, and I was getting up nerve. I got in the left lane, scraping gear. I trying to get in front. I got high gear on Mac humming, and I looked up the road and seen one coming. I had her running about 63, and his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. I seen him smile as I went by. He had a 2-geared Plymouth that'd get up and fly. I looked in the mirror and he was coming back, and I got on a brake of that smoking Mac. Trying to slow down, change my mind, didn't want in front. He pulled me over and he said the grin, and it looked like he done goofed again. I said, Mr. Trooper, if you'll let me alone, I'll crank this Mac and go on home. I'll run slow, stay behind, won't try to pass. He said, you can come on and go with me, and we'll ride on down to the old JP. Bring your driver's license, your billfold, your buddies too. The trooper to bar dime, he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He said, you ain't gonna need no phone, you're jailhouse bound, you ain't going home.
Eastern town, from Boston to St. Louis. There's some that I don't even know, but I'm looking forward to, 'cause I like my women everywhere I go. So roll on big wheels, now don't you roll so slow. Diana's waiting in Memphis, there's a Betty Lou in Maine. I got a good old gal in Nashville, but man, I forgot her name, but not her figure. I remember that. Yeah, I'm a kiss-stealing, a wheeling-dealing, truck-driving son of a gun. Well, there goes Joe, flying low, making up his time. But from where I sit, I don't believe you'd say I'm wasting mine. I'm moving faster than a Jimmy. If you think I'm losing time, you're running late. I got a pretty little baby waiting back home for me. But there are 6 more towns to go till I'm back in Tennessee, and 6 more women, at least I know. Yeah, I'm a kiss-stealing, a wheeling-dealing, truck-driving son of a gun.
Yeah, Breaker 19, and this here's the Rubber Duck. You got a copy on me, Big Pen? Come on. Yeah, 10-4, Big Pen, for sure. By golly, it's clean clear to Flagtown. Come on. Yeah, it's a big 10-4 there, Big Pen. Yeah, we've Almighty, mercy sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy.
It was the dark of the moon on the 6th of June, and the Kenworth pulling logs. Cab overbeat with a reefer on, and a Jimmy hauling hogs. We was headed for Bear on I-10, about a mile out of Shaky Town. I said, Pigpen, this here's a rubber duck, and I'm about to put the hammer down.
And you want to back off them hogs? 10-4 Roger, about 5 miles or so. 10 Roger, them hogs is getting intense up here.
By the time we got into Tulsa town, we had 85 trucks in all. But there's a roadblock up on the Cloverleaf, and them bears is wall to wall. Yeah, them smokies was thick as bugs on a bumper. They even had a bear in the air. I says, call an old truck, says, here's the duck. We're about to go a-hunting bear.
Give me a 10-9 on that big pen. Negatory, big pen, you're still too close. Yeah, them hogs are starting to close up my sinuses. Mercy sakes, you better back off another 10.
Well, we rolled up Interstate 44 like a rocket sled on rails. We tore up all of our swindle sheets and left them setting on the scales. By the time we hit that Chi-town, them bears is a-getting smart. They brought up some reinforcements from the Illinois National Guard. There was armored cars and tanks and jeeps and rigs of every size. Yeah, them chicken coops was full of bears and choppers filled the skies. Well, we shot the line and we went for broke with 1,000 screaming trucks and 11 long-haired friends of Jesus and a chartreuse microbus.
Yeah, Rubber Duck, this is Sodbuster. Come on, you 10-4 Sodbuster. Listen, you want to put that microbus in behind that suicide jockey? Yeah, he's holding dynamite. He needs all the help he can get.
Well, we laid a strip for the Jersey shore and prepared to cross the line. I could see the bridge was lined with bears, but I didn't have a doggone dime. I says, Pigpen, this here's a rubber duck. We just ain't gonna pay no toll. So we crashed the gate doing 98. I said, let them truckers roll. 10-4.
Good buddy, we ain't gonna back on out of here. Keep the bugs off your glass and the bears off your tail. We'll catch you on the flip side. This here's a rubber duck on the side. We gone bye-bye.
He was heading into Boston in a big long diesel truck. It was his first trip to Boston. He was having lots of luck. He was going the wrong direction down a one-way street in town. And this is what he said when the police chased him down. Give me 40 acres and I'll turn this rig around. It's the easiest way that I've found. Some guys can turn it on a dime or turn it right downtown. But I need 40 acres to turn this rig around. When he finally found where to unload, he had a dreadful shock. His trailer pointed toward the road and his cab right to the dock. And as he looked around him, through his tears he made this sound. Oh, give me 40 acres and I'll turn this rig around. Give me 40 acres and I'll turn this rig around. It's the easiest way that I've found. Some guys can turn it on a dime or turn it right downtown. But I need 40 acres to turn this rig around. When he finally got unloaded, he was glad had to leave the town. He was very, very happy going back to Alabama. When up ahead he saw a sign, said, you are northward bound. He said, give me 40 acres and I'll turn this rig around. Give me 40 acres and I'll turn this rig around. It's the easiest way that I've found. Some guys can turn it on a dime or turn it right downtown, but I need 40 acres to turn this rig around. He was driving down the right lane when ahead he saw a sign, and he had to make a left turn, but he could not get in line. And the tears were streaming down his cheeks, and they all heard him yell, give me 40 sticks of dynamite, I'll blow this thing to give me 40 acres, and I'll turn this rig around. It's the easiest way that I've found. Some guys can turn it on a dime or turn it right downtown, but I need 40 acres to turn this rig around.
Down 75 or 85 or I-20 the other way. Turn your squelch to the right and in the night you'll hear some good buddy say, breaker, breaker, got a picture taker, Old Smoky's at 43. It's that Japanese toy, the trucker's joy, that everybody calls CB. Yeah, Citizens Band keeps you up to date with the fender benders and the Tijuana taxis and all them bears out there flip-flop. Now ahead of your children and ahead of your wife, on the list of the 10 best things in life, your CB's got a rate right around number 4. Of course, beavers and hot biscuits and Merle Haggard come 1, 2, 3, you know. Well, I was loaded down coming out of Lake City. I was checking out seat covers, young and pretty, when all of a sudden there come a call over my CB, ringing wall to wall. Said, Clover double nickels as you hit the ridge, 'cause there's a smoky picture taken to the other side of the bridge. Oh, mercy, appreciate that, good buddy. What's your handle there? Come on. We got any county mounties out there prowling? Come on. And he said,
10-4 back door. Put the pedal to the metal and let it roar. Hammer down to Macon town, gonna see my mama, sure. Well, the Bears are gone, let's bring it on. The Georgia line's out of sight. Pulled out of Richmond town last Saturday night, and my handle is the White Knight. How about it?
all right, White Knight, hammer down, you got the mean machine here. Was a streaking 9 needle, was a peeking a right around 79. That old diesel juice was a getting loose, and everything was fine. But wall to wall, I got a call, front door, Big Bear Trapper. Said, break 19, good buddy of mine, you got a smoky and a plain white wrapper. Well, I jammed my stick, I lost 20 quick, you could hear them gears a-tearing. I got pants by a beaver and a Camaro, I was cruising along, going so slow, I could count every button on that frilly blouse she was wearing. Of course, there wasn't but one. Hey there, Super Trooper. Yeah, that's the crafty Smoky over there with a CB of his own. Hey, White Knight, let's slide one on the Super Trooper, come on.
10-4 back door, put the pedal to the metal, what you waiting for? That old white can't stay inside, gonna leave you here and say no more, how about it?
Whoa now, buddy, that's fighting talk, I'd get up there and blow your doors off. Well, I hammered down like I had wings, little gravels in my wheels going ping, ping, ping. About the time I hit 92, saw something flashing in my rear view. Thought to myself, that can't be true, but there it was, oh blue, blue, blue. Uh-oh, bubblegum machine done hit the jackpot. Well, I could see that bear laughing big, hanging in tight on the back of my rig. Right there and then it came to me wall to wall. So in that cold dark Georgia night, in the shadows of Smoky Bear's blue light, I decided to make me just one more CB call. Breaker 19 for the Super Trooper. Hey there, Smoky old buddy, tell me if I'm right, or are you my front door? Are you the White Knight? Come on. And he said,
10-4. Back door, you're in a heap of trouble, boy, that's for sure. Gonna read you your rights and treat you fair. Pull over there with your rocking chair. Want you boys to know each other real well, 'cause you gonna be sharing the same jail cell. You make 12 cotton pickers I've caught tonight from the front door of that White Knight. How about it? 40 miles over the speed limit. You boys gonna be here a spell.
That's Except cotton figures, I've done been grounded, my tail in jail, my rig impounded. So when you're coming through the Georgia night, don't ever get no front door called the White Knight. No, sir. Wind up in the pokey with Smokey. I'm gonna pull that old CD thing out by the wires.
Well, when I was just a little bitty kid, I remember one time Mama said that he'd send you all of his love from Frisco Bay. I didn't understand till I was grown when my daddy didn't spend some time at home, instead of run around the country got away. Whoa, I'm looking at the world through a windshield, and I see everything in a little bit different light. I got a sweet little thing I'm wanting to see in Atlanta. I'm down around Dallas and roll on south tonight. Long strips of rubber that you see were burned off this rig by the likes of me. They'll rot along the highways in this land. I'm gonna sign my name in that diesel smoke and let the ones that come along behind me choke and beat this pace I'm setting anytime they can. Whoa, I'm looking at the world through a windshield, watching it fly by me on the right. I got a sweet little thing I'm a-wanting to see in Memphis tonight. I'm down around Dallas and roll on south tonight. Well, I pushed this rig through sleet and rain, and I've driven through the rough terrain of the Rockies to the docks of old L.A. And on down that old Pacific shore, swing north and run for Baltimore, somewhere about 2,000 miles away. Whoa, I'm looking at the world through a windshield, watching it fly by me on the right. I got a sweet little thing I'm a-wanting to see in Nashville. I'm down around Dallas and roll on south tonight. Yeah, I'm down around Dallas and roll on south tonight.
There's a time to laugh and a time to cry, time to forgive and a time to forget. Dreams we dream sometimes never die. We carry them on until they become someone else's dreams. A friend of mine had such a dream. I met her at a truck stop just outside of Phoenix. We both worked there. Her dream came true, I know. The key to her dream was a little sign that read, "Giddy-Up, Go." She was a lovely girl, pretty smile, but behind all this I could see a troubled mind. She told me when she met the guy that won her heart and made her life a joy. And before too long, more happiness came, a little baby boy. Things wasn't too bad, his job wasn't much, but somehow they got by. And then came the day he drove home a big truck. And the little boy became so overjoyed, just like when he saw his first fall of snow. He kept hollering, "Giddy up, go, Daddy, giddy up, go." Then a dark cloud moved in. A few years later, without warning, after a few visits with her doctor, he said it was just a matter of time. She knew she'd have to move to a drier climate, and this troubled her mind. So without leaving a trace, she took her son and left town one night. She settled here, and we became the closest of friends. We'd talk from time to time, and she'd smile, and her eyes would glow when she'd tell me about Giddy Up, Go. Each time a truck would pull in, I could see her stand and stare. Wasn't long before she had to give up being a waitress here, and she moved on out of town, not too far. We visited almost every week. The boy now's almost grown. He's the image of his dad, she'd say. The most handsomest man I've ever known. The dark cloud once more moved in. And as I stood close by, once again she told her story. I could see a tear in her eye. I know my son longs for the road, and the last request she had, let him become a truck driver, like son, like dad. The boys soon left town. I never knew for where. But I find myself watching every truck that pulled in around the curve. Giddyup Go was the only link that held between the two, and I was hoping that I could be of help. It became a dream to me, too. Just now, I froze in my tracks as I watched two trucks pull in, a big new shiny diesel and an old one following him. I couldn't help staring as they walked in, ordered coffee, and talked a while. Then I saw them leave, both wearing such a smile. They walked out to the old truck, brushed off some dirt so the nameplate would show. And before my eyes, a little sign that read, Giddyup, Go.
That wind and wander across this lonesome land sure can get weary sometimes, especially when you get a flat on the old diesel. I was barreling down old 77 one day, and I just passed a hobo who'd given me the thumb, and I gave him the thumb back and kept going. And wouldn't you know it, about a quarter of a mile further, I pulled up on the shoulder with a flat on the right rear. And as I stood there looking at it, shaking my head, uttering some profane syllables, the hobo walked up and said to me,
Have a flat?
No, thanks, I got one.
It ain't too bad. It's only flat on the bottom.
Oh, brother, you could tell this guy'd been out of circulation for a long time.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, I was just gonna look for a man to help me fix it.
Good, I'll help you look for him.
How about you?
Yeah, how about me?
Well, I mean, how about you giving me a hand?
Oh, I'd like to help you, buddy, but I'm too light for heavy work and too heavy for light work.
And too lazy.
Well, that might fit in there someplace.
Well, thanks a lot. I'll fix it myself.
And I'll supervise the job. Say, old buddy, how about giving me a dime for a piece of cake?
Well, if that don't beat all, and it's cake you want.
Well, today's my birthday.
All right, help me fix this flat and I'll buy you a full dinner.
Okay, you got a deal, but let me see the menu first.
Look, Buster, you know hard work won't kill you.
I don't know. I lost several wives that way.
Come on now, you look strong enough to work.
And you look handsome enough to be a movie star, but I see you're pushing this old diesel.
Surely you must have done some work.
Oh, yeah, I work now and then.
Well, what do you do?
This and that.
Whereabouts?
Here and there.
I see.
Now, when you gonna give me that dime?
Sooner or later.
You can kid me if you wanna, but I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't change places with a guy that had $1 million.
Nah, how about 5 million?
Not even 5 million.
How about 10 million?
Not even, well, nah, that's different. You're talking real dough.
Now look here, you no good, mangy, knock-kneed, bow-legged, bald-headed, two-bit hobo.
Who are you calling bow-legged?
Now look, you're going to help me fix this flat or I'm going to break your...
Careful, chum, you'll bend the suit.
Now for the last time, are you or ain't you?
You get so excited. Okay, I'll help you. Let me take a look at that tire. Just as I thought. That ain't no blowout, just a slow leak. Hand me that tire pump.
And friends, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. That tramp took that pump, and with one hand, mind you, pumped that big tire full of air in no time.
Well, what do you know? No flat.
Partner, I want to thank you. Hop in the cab, and the next stop we make, I'll buy you the biggest steak and the best cake they've got in the house.
Sounds like a winner.
Just one thing, though. I noticed you only used one hand on that tire pump. How come?
Oh, I don't know, except this arm's broke.
Broke?
Just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, old buddy. How did it happen?
Well, it was like this. I got a hold of this copy of the Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Go on.
And I broke my arm filling out order blanks.
Oh, no, come on, let's hit the road.
From Caroline to Alabama, on down that Georgia line, I've seen lots of pretty girls, but there's none as sweet as mine. As I put the miles behind me, with the headlights burning bright, gotta keep these big wheels rolling, I'm coming home tonight. I ain't got time to shoot the pinball or to get the radar blues. Gotta keep these big wheels rolling, I'm coming home to you. I know my baby's waiting, the sweetest ever seen, with big blue eyes that sparkle, she's a truck driver's queen. At the cafes and truck stops, all up and down the line, I've seen lots of pretty girls, but there's none as sweet as mine. With big blue eyes that sparkle, she's the sweetest I ever seen. Gotta keep these big wheels rolling to my truck driver's queen. I ain't got time to shoot the pinball or to get the radar blues. Gotta keep these big wheels rolling, I'm coming home to you. I know my baby's waiting, the sweetest ever seen, with big blue eyes that sparkle, she's a truck driver's queen.
The highways that wind and wander over mountains and valleys, deserts and plains, I guess I've drove about all of them. 'Cause for the past 25 years now, the cab of a truck has been my home. And it'd be kind of hard for me to settle down and not be on the go. Well, I remember the first truck I drove. I was so proud I could hardly wait to get home to show my wife and little boy. And my little boy was so excited like when he saw his first snow. When he wasn't old enough to say too many words, he just kept hollering, "Giddy-up, go, Daddy, giddy-up, go." So that's what I named the old truck, Giddy-up, go. Oh, things wasn't too bad. Of course, I was gone a lot. And after about 6 years, I got home one day and found my wife and little boy gone. I couldn't find out what happened. Nobody seemed to know. So from that day on, it's been me and old Giddy-up, go. I've made a lot of friends at all the truck stops, and some of them would kid me about my little sign. Of course, they knew where I got the name, because I told them about that little boy of mine, and how his first word about the truck was, "Giddy-up, go." Today I was barreling down old 66 when up beside me pulled a brand new diesel rig, both stacks blowing black coal. And as he pulled around and back in front of me, a big lump came in my throat, and my eyes watered like I had a bad old cold. A little sign on the back of the truck that read, "Giddy-up, go." Well, I pushed old Giddy-up and stayed right on him until the next truck stop where he'd pulled up. I waited till he went in and I offered to buy him a cup. Well, we got to talking shop and I said, "How did you come by the name on your truck, Giddy-up, go?" Well, he said, "I got it from my pop. Dad used to drive a truck, That's what Mom talked about a lot. You see, I lost Mom when I was just past 16. And I lost all track of Pop. Mom said he got the name from me. I shook his hand and told him that I had something I wanted him to see. I took him out to the old truck and brushed off some of the dirt so the name would show. And his eyes got big and bright as he read, Giddyup, go. Oh, we had a lot of things to talk about, and buddy, I felt like a king. And now we've just pulled back on old 66, and he handled that rig better than any gear jammer that I'd ever seen. Well, now the lines on the highway have got a much brighter glow as we go roaring down the road, and me staring at a little sign that reads, Giddyup, go.
Box playing a song called The in heaven, 'cause I'm a truck driving man. Pour me another cup of coffee, for it's the best in the land. I'll put a quarter in the jukebox and play the truck driving man, and play the truck driving man.
I picked you up in Dallas just about a week ago. You were a married woman, but you know I didn't know. Now your man's a burning rubber off a standard stick. We lost him up in Tulsa, but he's catching up quick. This overloaded diesel's hauling too much freight for racing into Memphis with an old 88. I'm hoping and a praying that we'll make Little Rock so you can hop another tractor at the coffee stop. Fort Smith was a ball, I've got to call the whole trip fun. But I think about your husband and I get a vision of a gun. I don't want to hire the cemetery boys to dig. Gotta stop this rolling party, try to hide my rig. This overloaded diesel's hauling too much freight for racing into Memphis with an old 88. I'm hoping and a praying that we'll make Little Rock so you can hop another tractor at the coffee stop. I wish you'd have told me I was stealing you away. You'd be waiting tables yet back there in that cafe. Every light in the mirror scares me half to death, and that tailgating fool much more than all the rest. This overloaded diesel's hauling too much freight for racing into Memphis with an old 88. I'm hoping and a praying that we'll make Little Rock so you can hop another tractor at the coffee stop.
The story is about an ex-truck driver being named John James Wall before his friends blackballed him and nicknamed him Pinball. I gathered this story from a truck stop in Gallipolis, Ohio, when this old feller, I'd say 70 years old, asked me to buy him a strong cup of coffee and a piece of good apple pie. I bought the coffee and the pie for the old feller, and I'm awful glad I did, because he winked his eye and smiled and says, "My, my." Then I noticed in a few minutes with trembling hands he pushed a part of his pie and coffee back and looked at me with tears running down his poor old weather-beaten cheek, and this is what he said. I'm an old hog hauler, I drove a big truck, I shot the pinball machine, but it cost me bad luck. But all I ever made in a pinball machine, I'd get 4 catty cornered, then I'd miss the 16. I wish they'd outlaw them old pinball machines. Many weeks they have cost me to live on sardines. Last time I called my wife on the phone, the first thing she says, "John, when can you come home? I've got a load of hogs and they've got to go. I'll see you when I get back from Chicago." She says, "John, you know I love you. I wish you wouldn't go. Send your baby some money. They are hungry and cold." The last thing she said, and then she hung up. "John, you give up my loving and just to drive an old truck." trip on to Chicago. I was gone 2 months 'cause I shot up my dough. When I got home, my family was gone. The best friend I had rung my telephone. He says, John, I guess you wonder about your babies and wife. Pneumonia got your babies and your wife took her life. I've lost all my friends, I can't sleep for bad dreams. I dream about an old truck and a pinball machine. I never will forget the last words that old man said. Oh Lord, if I could live my life over. And then he fell dead. They tell me John is a clean-cut young man at the age of 19, but now he's in his grave, a victim of a big old truck and a pinball machine.
I was out on the West Coast trying to make a buck, and things didn't work out. I was down on my luck. Got tired of roaming and bumming around, so I started thumbing back east toward my hometown. Made a lot of miles the first 2 days, and I figured I'd be home in a week if my luck held out this way. But the third night I got stranded way out of town at a cold, lonely crossroads. Rain was pouring down. I was hungry and freezing, done caught a chill, when the lights of a big semi topped the hill. Lord, I sure was glad to hear them air brakes come on. And I climbed in that cab where I knew it'd be warm. At the wheel sat a big man. He weighed about 210. He stuck out his hand and said with a grin, Big Joe's the name. I told him mine. And he said the name of my rig is Phantom 309. Well, I asked him why he called his rig such a name. He said, son, this old Mac can put 'em all to shame. There ain't a driver or a rig a-running any line that's seen nothing but taillights from Phantom 309. Well, we rode and talked the better part of the night when the lights of a truck stop came in sight. He said, I'm sorry, son, this is as far as you go, 'cause I gotta make a turn just on up the road. Well, he tossed me a dime as he pulled her in low and said, have yourself a hot cup on old Big Joe. When Joe and his rig roared out in the night, in nothing flat, he was clean out of sight. Well, I went inside and ordered me a cup, told the waiter Big Joe was setting me up. Oh, you could have heard a pin drop. It got deathly quiet, and the waiter's face turned kind of white. Well, did I say something wrong? I said with a halfway grin. He said, no, this happens every now and then. Every driver in here knows Big Joe. But son, let me tell you what happened about 10 years ago. At the crossroads tonight where you flagged him down, there was a busload of kids coming from town. And they were right in the middle when Big Joe topped the hill. It could have been slaughter, but he turned his wheels. Well, Joe lost control, went into a skid, and gave his life to save that bunch of kids. And there at that crossroads was the end of a line for Big Joe and Phantom 309. But every now and then, some hiker will come by, and like you, Big Joe will give him a ride. Here, have another cup, and forget about the dime. Keep it as a souvenir from Big Joe and Phantom 309. I got something kind of special I'd like to say to all you truck drivers out there who might be listening right now. Also, a truck driver's prayer that I'd like to pass along to you, because I think it's kind of special too. But first, Now, I got a few things I've been wanting to say to you guys for a long time, and I think right now is a good time to do it. Like, did you know that me and just about everyone in country music who travel a lot have nothing but the highest respect for you, the truck driver? Because it's a fact that some of the best drivers are truck drivers, and the most safety-minded, the most courteous, and the first to stop and help when there's trouble. And little things like blinking signal lights to help someone pass. So you just gotta be good people, like some I've had the pleasure of meeting. Down-to-earth, hard-working family men. And a lot of you like our country music, and that makes you okay in my book. Sounds like I'm blowing smoke, don't it? But I'm not, because it boils down to this. If everyone would drive like you guys do, there would be a lot less accidents and deaths on the highway. So, truck driver, buddy, you're appreciated more than you'll ever know. And we salute you. Now for the prayer. Now, this truck driver's prayer was sent to me by a truck driver from Oklahoma City. He found it at a truck stop, Mary's Cafe in Cairo, Illinois. Now, this prayer means a lot to him, and I think it will you too. So if you will, give a listen and see if it isn't your prayer too. Dear God above, bless this truck I drive and help me keep someone alive. Be my mortal sight this day on streets where little children play. Bless my helper fast asleep when the night is long and deep, and keep my cargo safe and sound through the hours big and round. Make my judgment sound as steel and be my hands upon the wheel. Bless the traveler going past and teach him not to go so fast. Give me strength for every trip so I may care for what they ship, and make me mindful every mile that life is just a little while. Amen.
You know, a lot of folks stop at truck stops. They just naturally think they should, 'cause they figure any place a truck driver eats, the food's just got to be good. So they go in there amongst all them truck drivers, sitting around talking low. They're talking about women and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go. There's the little old place out on 66 where a lot of the drivers stop to get their kicks. A reckless eyeballing this waitress they got called Flo. There's always a bunch in here hanging out, cutting up and talking about how she wiggles when she walks and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go. What's the wonder a feller can sit down and eat is how many eggs are his bread and meat with a good-looking woman like that around and on the go. First thing you know, you get to fidgeting and fussing and nudging one another instead of discussing how she wiggles when she walks and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go. She just takes it all in stride and swells all up with her woman pride. She's tickled plumb pink you come in to see the show. She throws a little old extra wiggle in that walk, and you just sit there and grin and talk about homemade loving and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go. I can't explain how it makes you feel, but you tip her $5 on a $2 meal. Get yourself together and start heading out kind of slow. While you're pushing that diesel on down the line, you get to thinking about your woman you left behind, and how she wiggles when she walks and stuff like that, and how fast them trucks will go.
Widowmaker, Widowmaker, were the words so bright and big, painted across the bumper of a shiny rig. Billy Mack kissed Wanda and then climbed into his rig. Said he'd be back a Tuesday night, let's plan on something big. That big red diesel roared to life, and Bill was L.A. bound. The wheels were humming Wanda Pan as he rolled out of town. 2000 RPMs were showing on the tack, but no one knew this was the last long ride for Billy Mack. Widowmaker, Widowmaker, only Bill could understand, was going to make a widow out of pretty Wonderland. Just a few more miles and Bill was on that mountain range, where dead ahead a pickup full of kids blocked both the lanes. Bill hit the air, then he felt his trailer slide and sway, and the pickup driver made no move to help him clear the way. He just had time to think of Wanda as he fought the wheel. Then Billy Mack was buried under 20 tons of steel. 1 life for 10 has always been a diesel driver's code. That's why Billy slung that Widowmaker off the road.
Some time ago, I was sipping on some coffee and having some ham and biscuits when a motion caught my eye through the truck stop window. It was a little lost puppy, half-starved and shaking from fear. Well, I just had to make friends with him, so I picked him up and put him in the cab. And buddy, he took to that truck like he was born there. Well, I named him Little Joe. And as I watched him sleep on the seat beside me, that's when I knew the Little Joe would be with me for a long, long time. Well, a few months later, I was talking to my old friend Teddy Bear on the old CB and not paying much attention to my back door. And Little Joe started barking up a storm. I looked up and I saw a Smoky in the mirror, and I slowed my rig down just in time. But you know something? Teddy Bear heard Little Joe barking, and he said, "Hey, Big Red, let me talk to your partner." And I said, "You got it, good buddy. How's the old Smoky situation, Little Joe?" And Little Joe said, "Gruff." Aw, that just tore him up. And the next 200 miles just flew by, 'cause everybody on that CB wanted to talk to Little Joe. Well, one night we were headed through the Smokies in East Tennessee, and Little Joe started acting real nervous. I heard the sounds of lightning on the old CB, and suddenly we were in the worst storm that I'd ever seen. All at once I saw headlights coming straight at my rig. Someone was blinded in the rain, so I swerved fast and just barely missed a camper full of kids. But the shoulder gave way, and we crashed over the side of the mountain. And when I woke up, my truck was on fire, and I couldn't move. But somehow, Little Joe grabbed me by the collar and pulled me away from that burning rig. Well, I was in the hospital the next time I woke up, and the doctor was there to break the bad news. The accident had taken my sight. Oh, God, now I can't even drive. And that's when I realized how helpless Teddy Bear must have felt before the miracle happened that made him walk again. And then I thought, well, now, where's little Joe? Ain't nobody said anything about little... Oh, I was so sad because I figured little Joe had given his life to save me. Well, my brother asked me to come live with him, and when he opened the door to my new room, I heard an old CB just a-blaring away. Well, I couldn't wait to grab that mic, and the first voice I heard was my old buddy Teddy Bear, ratchet jawing in the distance. So I broke for him, and he came right back to me. Why, it was almost like old times again. Teddy Bear was a-yakking away, unloading all the latest news on me and getting louder and louder. But all of a sudden, the sound of an engine seemed to drown Teddy Bear out. And I said, hey, what's going on? Teddy Bear said, open your front door, good buddy, I'm just outside. Lord, the roar of engine seemed to rock the house. And all around me, I could hear familiar voices and slamming doors. Oh, I couldn't hold back the tears. All my friends were there. And then I heard something I couldn't believe. Little Joe? That bark? Why, it had to be little Joe. And no sooner than that, he was all over me. And I put my arms around my old partner, and the tears were streaming down my face. And then I felt something strange. Little Joe hadn't worn a collar before, and attached to the collar was a handle. A hush fell over my friends, and I realized, Lord, my new eyes were standing at my feet. Little Joe. I drive a big Freightliner and I make a last payment today. And I drive to all points out of New York City to L.A. Well, the little woman smiles when I pack up to leave her. I'll soon be back, but I just got the fever. She's a believer. I got the Freightliner fever. There's a railroad a-running by the highway out in Santa Fe. And I passed an old freight train a-making his run the other day. Merle Haggard said to his fireman so pale, he's a-blowing this a freight train off of the rail. He got the fever. Fever. He's got the Freightliner fever. Well, Pierce said, Red, what you carrying in that cigarette pack? I said, I got my second driver and he's gonna drive all the way back. It's a big black pill so long and round. To a driver, it's a West Coast turn around. It's for the fever. Fever. That old Freightliner fever. Well, I passed Dave Dudley up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I passed Del Reeves down in Shreveport, Louisiana. Dick Curtis got a hung on a hill up in Maine. I pulled him on over with my 40-foot chain. He got the fever. Fever. He's got the Freightliner fever. I've been a-passing everything from a Jimmy to a Greyhound bus. I'm gonna spend a few days out on the West Coast to end of my run. In old Giddyup, though, and a little bit of luck, I'm gonna pass a Red Simpson in his runaway truck. He's got the fever. Fever. He's got the Freightliner fever. Oh, well, Pierce said, Red, what you carrying in that cigarette pack? I said, I got my second driver and he's gonna drive all the way back. It's a big black pill so long and round. To a driver, it's a West Coast turn around. It's for the fever. Fever. That old Freightliner fever. Oh, out on this road you pass a lot of them old country boys. I seen Carl Smith, Charlie Pride, Ernest Tubb, Bill Monroe, Convoy-T, Waylon Jennings. Seen Dave Dudley, George Jones, Porter Wagner, Bill Anderson,